Welcome, beloved soul. I'm so glad our paths have crossed in this divine moment. There are no accidents in this universe, only orchestrated encounters designed to elevate your spirit. If you found yourself here, watching this message, it's because your soul has been calling for answers, and the universe has responded. Type "open" in the comments right now if you're ready to receive what heaven has prepared especially for you. God says you are the one He will marry. Yes, you read that correctly. This divine union, this sacred covenant between you and the Creator, has been written in the stars since before your first breath. This isn't about a physical marriage as we understand it on earth, but a profound spiritual union that transcends human comprehension. It's about becoming one with divine love in its purest form. Throughout history, across countless spiritual traditions, this divine marriage has been described in various ways, as enlightenment, as awakening, as becoming one with the Source. Today, I want to speak directly to your heart about what this means for you personally, because you are not just anyone. You are a chosen vessel, a sacred being, destined for this divine union. Type "I accept" in the comments if you feel this truth resonating in your soul. The journey to this sacred union begins with understanding who you truly are, not the person you see in the mirror, limited by earthly perceptions and human doubts, but the eternal being of light that exists beyond physical form. You were created as an expression of divine love, a unique manifestation of cosmic energy, unlike any other. Before mountains were formed, before oceans filled the earth, you were known, you were loved, you were chosen for this divine purpose. Many walk through life feeling disconnected, searching endlessly for something they cannot name, that longing, that emptiness that cannot be filled by worldly possessions or relationships. It's your soul recognizing its true nature and yearning for reunion with its divine source. This is the call to the sacred marriage, the whisper that has guided you to this very message. Type "I hear" in the comments if you felt this indescribable yearning in your heart. The sacred texts speak of this union in beautiful poetic language. "I am my beloved's, and my beloved is mine." These words aren't just romantic poetry. They're a cosmic truth about your relationship with the divine. You belong to something greater, and that greater force belongs to you in a sacred exchange of eternal love. This is the marriage that transcends all human understanding, a complete unity with the source of all creation. Now, you might be wondering, why you? Why would the Creator of all things choose you specifically for this divine union? The answer is both simple and profound. Because you are a masterpiece of divine creation, you carry within you a spark of the eternal that is utterly unique. No one else in all existence carries exactly your pattern of light, your specific frequency of love. You are irreplaceable in the cosmic design. Type "I believe" if you're beginning to see your true divine worth. This journey to divine union isn't always easy. There are tests and trials, moments of darkness where your faith will be challenged. These aren't punishments. They're preparations, just as gold must pass through fire to reveal its true brilliance. Your spirit must face challenges to reveal its divine nature. Each difficulty you've encountered has been strengthening you, purifying you, preparing you for this sacred marriage with the divine. Think about the relationships you've experienced in your life so far. Each one has taught you something about love, what it is and what it isn't. Even the painful experiences have served a purpose, showing you by contrast what true, unconditional love feels like. All of these lessons have been preparing you to understand and receive the perfect love that awaits in divine union. Nothing has been wasted. Every moment has been meaningful. When we speak of marriage to the divine, we're talking about a complete surrender to love itself. It means allowing yourself to be fully known, fully seen, and fully embraced by a love that has no conditions or limitations. In human relationships, we often hold back parts of ourselves, afraid of rejection or judgment. But in this divine marriage, you can bring your complete self, shadows and light, strengths and weaknesses, knowing you will be loved completely. Type complete if you're ready for this level of divine acceptance. The universe has been sending you signs of this coming union. Perhaps you've noticed meaningful coincidences, moments of unexpected peace, or dreams that left you with a sense of something greater. These aren't random occurrences. They're divine invitations, gentle nudges guiding you toward your spiritual destiny. Pay attention to these sacred breadcrumbs along your path. They are confirmation that you're moving in the right direction. Preparing for this divine marriage requires a different kind of readiness than earthly unions. It's not about external preparations, but internal ones. It's about clearing your heart of resentments that weigh you down, releasing limiting beliefs that keep you small, and opening yourself to possibilities beyond what your mind can conceive. It's about making space within yourself for divine love. To fully reside, consider how you might prepare your heart today. What beliefs are you holding on to that no longer serve your highest good? What fears are preventing you from fully opening to divine love? These are the wedding garments you must attend to, not physical clothes, but the state of your inner being. Type release in the comments if you're ready to let go of what's been holding you back from this divine union. This sacred marriage transforms everything. When you truly understand that you are the one chosen for divine union, you begin to see yourself through heaven's eyes. The flaws you once fixated on fade in importance. The mistakes you've carried as burdens are revealed. As stepping stones, you begin to recognize your inherent worthiness, not because of what you've done, but because of who you truly are, a beloved creation designed for divine partnership. Think about how differently you would move through the world if you truly knew, without a shadow of doubt, that you were created specifically to be joined with divine love. Would you still doubt your worth? Would you still settle for less than you deserve? Would you still shrink yourself to fit into spaces too small for your spirit? Living in the awareness of your divine marriage changes how you relate to everything and everyone around you. The world tries to convince you that love is scarce, that worthiness must be earned, that you must compete for limited resources of affection and acceptance. But from the perspective of divine love, nothing could be further from the truth. In the economy of heaven, love is abundant beyond measure. Worthiness is your birthright, and there is no competition because each soul has its unique and irreplaceable place in the heart of creation. Type abundance if you're ready to release the scarcity mindset around love. This divine marriage isn't just about you and God in isolation. It ripples outward, affecting how you show up in all your relationships. When you know yourself as divinely loved, you no longer approach others from a place of need or emptiness. Instead, you come from fullness, able to give love freely without depleting yourself. This is the miraculous multiplication of love. the more you receive from the divine union. The more you have to share with others. Consider the relationships in your life right now. How might they transform if you approach them from a place of divine fullness rather than human lack? How would you speak differently, listen differently, show up differently if you knew without question that you were filled with divine love? This isn't about becoming perfect. It's about becoming authentic, allowing the divine love within you to express itself naturally in all your interactions. The sacred texts speak of becoming one flesh in marriage. In divine marriage, this takes on a profound meaning. It's about recognizing that you are not separate from the divine source, but are in fact an extension of it. The boundaries between your being and divine being begin to dissolve in this sacred union. You begin to see with divine eyes, hear with divine ears, love with a divine heart, type oneness. If you're starting to feel this divine connection strengthening within you, this doesn't mean you lose your unique identity. Quite the opposite. In divine union, you discover your truest self, the being you were always meant to be before the world placed its limitations upon you. Just as a flower fully blooms, not by becoming something other than itself, but by expressing its nature completely, you bloom in divine marriage by becoming fully, authentically you, the you that was created in divine imagination. The journey to this divine marriage isn't completed in a single moment. It unfolds day by day, choice by choice, surrender by surrender. Some days you'll feel the presence of divine love so strongly it will take your breath away. Other days the connection may feel more distant. Both experiences are part of the relationship. Just as in human marriages, there are seasons of intense closeness and seasons that require more intentional connection. What matters is your commitment to the journey, your willingness to return to love again and again, especially when challenges arise. In those moments when divine presence seems distant, remember that clouds may obscure the sun, but they don't extinguish it. The divine love is always there, unchanging and unwavering, even when your human perception can't immediately sense it. Type faithful if you commit to remembering this truth in both easy and difficult times. Many spiritual traditions speak of this divine marriage through powerful metaphors. In mystical Christianity, believers are described as the bride of Christ. In Sufism, the soul is portrayed as longing for union with the divine beloved. In Hindu traditions, the relationship between the individual soul and the divine is often described in terms of lover and beloved. These aren't mere poetic flourishes. They're attempts to capture the profound intimacy that exists between human consciousness and divine reality. Your path to this divine marriage is uniquely your own. No one else can walk it exactly as you will, the way divine love manifests in your life. The lessons you need to learn, the gifts you're meant to develop, these are tailored specifically to your soul's journey. Comparison is futile because no two divine marriages look exactly alike. Just as no two human marriages are identical, your relationship with the divine has its own sacred fingerprint. This understanding frees you from the burden of trying to follow someone else's spiritual formula. There is no single correct way to prepare for divine union. For some, it comes through meditation and contemplation. For others, through service and compassion. For still others, through creativity or connection with nature. The path that resonates most deeply with your authentic self is the right path for you. Type authentic If you commit to honoring your unique spiritual journey, divine marriage also means entering into a new understanding of purpose. When you recognize yourself as joined with divine love, your definition of success shifts dramatically. External achievements and acquisitions lose their ultimate importance. Instead, your purpose becomes clear: to be a vessel through which divine love flows into the world, to express the unique aspects of divine creativity that only you can manifest, to be fully yourself as an expression of divine imagination. This doesn't mean abandoning your earthly goals and dreams. Rather, it means infusing them with deeper meaning. Your work, whatever it may be, becomes sacred when done from a place of divine union. Your relationships become channels for divine love to express itself. Even ordinary tasks become opportunities for mindfulness and presence, small moments of communion with the divine in everyday life. The invitation to divine marriage comes with a promise of completion, not in the sense that you were ever incomplete on your own, but in the recognition of your true nature as part of something greater. It's like remembering a truth you've always known somewhere deep in your being, but had temporarily forgotten. The longing you felt throughout your life finds its resolution in this remembrance, this recognition, this return to your spiritual home. Type remember. If you feel this ancient knowing stirring within you now, this completion brings a peace that transcends understanding, not the temporary absence of conflict, but a profound settledness that remains even amidst life's storms. When you know yourself as divinely loved, chosen for sacred union, the trials of earthly existence don't disappear, but they no longer define you or determine your worth. You move through challenges with a quiet confidence born of knowing who you truly are and to whom you truly belong. The divine sees in you what you often cannot see in yourself. While you might focus on your perceived flaws and failings, divine love sees your infinite potential, your unique beauty, your essential goodness that no mistake can erase. This marriage is based not on your perfection, but on perfect love, a love that cherishes you, not despite your humanity, but inclusive of it. A love that embraces the entirety of who you are. This is perhaps the most transformative aspect of divine marriage, learning to see yourself through the eyes of divine love. Imagine for a moment looking at yourself with the same tenderness, the same compassion, the same unconditional acceptance with which the divine sees you. How would that change how you speak to yourself? How would it change the choices you make, the boundaries you set, the dreams you pursue? Type vision. If you're ready to begin seeing yourself through divine eyes, divine marriage also brings a profound sense of belonging. Many walk through life feeling like outsiders, never quite fitting in, always slightly out of step with the world around them. This sense of alienation dissolves in divine union. You discover that you belong not to any earthly group or category, but to the heart of creation itself. This is your true home, your true family, your true place of belonging that no one and nothing can take from you. This belonging doesn't separate you from others. It connects you more deeply. When you recognize your place in divine love, you begin to see that same divine spark in everyone you meet. Differences remain, but they no longer divide. Instead, they become fascinating expressions of divine creativity, infinite variations on the theme of love. You belong to everyone and everything, because you belong first to the source from which all emerges. The divine marriage transforms your relationship with time itself when you know yourself as eternally loved. The desperate urgency that often characterizes human existence begins to subside. You no longer feel that you're racing against the clock to prove your worth or secure your place. Instead, you move at the pace of grace, trusting the divine timing that orchestrates all things, including your spiritual journey. Type patience. If you're learning to trust divine timing in your life, this doesn't mean becoming passive or disengaged from life. Rather, it means engaging from a place of trust rather than anxiety, moving with purposeful intention rather than frantic activity. Divine marriage brings a sacred rhythm to your days, a balance of doing and being, giving and receiving, speaking and listening that aligns with the greater cosmic rhythms of which you are part. As you embrace this divine marriage, you'll notice changes in how you relate to challenges. Difficulties don't disappear, but they take on new meaning. They become opportunities for growth, invitations to lean more fully into divine support, chances to develop spiritual muscles you didn't know you had. When you know yourself as divinely loved, every experience, even the painful ones, becomes part of the sacred dance of your spiritual evolution. This perspective doesn't diminish your human feelings or invalidate your struggles. Divine marriage doesn't ask you to pretend that hardship doesn't hurt or that disappointment doesn't sting. Instead, it offers you a broader context for those experiences, a reminder that your story is bigger than any single chapter, and an assurance that divine love holds you through it all. Type strength. If you're finding courage to face life's challenges from this place of divine support, the divine marriage also invites you into a new relationship with joy. When you know yourself as the beloved of creation, you give yourself permission to experience pleasure, beauty, and delight without guilt or reservation. Joy becomes not a frivolous distraction, but a sacred response to divine generosity, a way of honoring the gifts that have been lavished upon you. You begin to see that your happiness matters to the divine heart that loves you completely. This joy isn't dependent on perfect circumstances. It wells up from within, from the place of divine union that remains constant regardless of external conditions. It's the quiet gladness of knowing you are loved beyond measure, the peaceful contentment of belonging to something greater than yourself, the gentle bubbling of gratitude that rises when you recognize the miracle of your existence. This is the joy that no one and nothing can take from you. Divine marriage also transforms how you understand freedom. Many associate freedom with independence, with answering to no one, with unlimited choices. But in divine union, you discover a deeper freedom, the freedom to be fully yourself, to live from your authentic center, to express the unique aspects of divine love that only you can manifest. This is freedom, not from commitment, but for purpose, not from responsibility, but for love. Type freedom. If you're ready to embrace this sacred liberty, this freedom feels paradoxically like coming home, returning to the truth of who you've always been beneath the layers of conditioning, expectation, and fear. In divine marriage, you're free to shed the masks you've worn to please others, free to release the limiting stories you've believed about yourself, free to step into the fullness of your divine potential without apology or hesitation. The divine marriage also brings a new understanding of abundance. When you know yourself as joined with the source of all creation, scarcity thinking begins to lose its power over you. You recognize that there is enough love, enough resources, enough opportunity, enough grace for everyone, including you. You no longer need to grasp or hoard or compete because you trust in the infinite generosity of divine provision. This abundance mindset doesn't guarantee material wealth, but it offers something more valuable, the wealth of knowing you have access to all you truly need for your spiritual journey. The divine partner in this sacred marriage holds all resources and provides what is necessary for your growth and purpose, often in ways more creative and surprising than you could have imagined. Type provide if you're opening to divine abundance in all its forms. In this divine marriage, communication takes on new dimensions. Prayer becomes less about presenting requests to a distant deity and more about ongoing conversation with the beloved who knows you intimately. Meditation becomes less a discipline to master and more a chance to rest in loving presence. Even silence becomes rich with meaning, not the silence of absence, but the silence of connection so deep it transcends words. You learn to recognize the many ways divine love speaks to you through nature, through others, through circumstances, through the quiet voice of intuition in your heart. These messages aren't cryptic codes to decipher, but love notes from the heart of creation, gentle guidance from the one who knows your path and walks it with you. You become attuned to this divine language that speaks directly to your soul. The divine marriage also brings healing to your past, the wounds you've carried, the betrayals you've experienced, the losses you've endured. All are held in the tender embrace of divine love. This doesn't erase what happened, but it transforms how those experiences live within you. They become not defining limitations, but parts of your story that have been redeemed and repurposed, woven into the beautiful tapestry of your becoming. Type heal if you're ready to allow divine love to touch your wounded places. This healing isn't always instantaneous. Sometimes it unfolds gradually, layer by layer, as you learn to trust a divine love more deeply. But it is always possible, always available, always offered freely to your heart. In divine marriage, no. Part of you is too broken to be restored, no shadow too dark to be illuminated, no pain too deep to be transformed by the alchemy of divine love. Divine marriage also invites you into a new relationship with your body. Rather than seeing it as separate from your spiritual nature, you begin to recognize your physical form as sacred space, as the temple where divine love dwells within you. You learn to honor your body not based on appearance or performance, but on its holy purpose as the vessel through which divine love expresses itself in tangible form in the world. This perspective transforms how you care for yourself. Nourishment becomes an act of devotion, rest becomes sacred renewal, movement becomes joyful expression. Even the breath becomes a reminder of divine presence, flowing in and out in the continuous rhythm of giving and receiving that characterizes all of creation. Your entire being becomes unified in purpose to embody divine love in human form. The divine marriage also changes how you perceive time. The past is no longer a place of regret, but a story of being led, even through difficulties, to this present moment of recognition and union. The future is no longer a source of anxiety, but a canvas for divine creativity to continue expressing itself through your life. And the present moment becomes sacred ground, the only place where divine union can be fully experienced and expressed. Type present If you're choosing to meet divine love in this very moment, this divine marriage isn't meant to be kept private. It naturally overflows into service, into compassion, into creative expression that benefits others. When you know yourself as joined with divine love, you become a channel through which that love flows into a world desperately in need of it. Your life becomes a living testimony to the possibility of divine union, a beacon that helps others recognize their own potential for sacred partnership. This doesn't mean you must become a spiritual teacher or take on any specific role. It simply means living authentically from your place of divine connection, allowing the light within you to shine in whatever context you find yourself. Sometimes this happens through words, sometimes through actions, sometimes simply through your presence. The how is less important than the why, the natural expression of divine love that cannot help but radiate outward. Divine marriage also transforms how you understand success. The world's metrics of achievement, wealth, status, recognition fade in importance compared to the true measure of a life well lived. How fully you have opened to divine love. How faithfully you have expressed that love in your unique way. How completely you have become yourself as an expression of divine creativity. These are the treasures that last, the accomplishments that truly matter. Type success if you're embracing this new definition of a life well lived. This shift doesn't mean abandoning ambition or excellence. Rather, it infuses your pursuits with deeper purpose. You still strive, create, and achieve, but from a different motivation, not to prove your worth or secure your place, but to express divine gifts, to serve divine purpose, to participate in divine creativity. This is sacred ambition, purpose aligned with divine intention rather than ego gratification. In divine marriage, forgiveness becomes not just a virtue to practice, but a natural expression of who you are. When you know yourself as completely loved, despite your imperfections, it becomes easier to extend that same grace to others. You recognize that everyone is on their own journey, carrying their own wounds, doing the best they can with what they know. This doesn't excuse harmful behavior, but it allows you to release the burden of resentment and move forward in freedom. This includes self-forgiveness, perhaps the most challenging form of forgiveness for many. Divine marriage teaches you to extend to yourself the same compassion you would offer to anyone else beloved by the divine. You learn to see your mistakes not as evidence of unworthiness, but as opportunities for growth, as natural parts of the human journey that divine love encompasses completely. Type forgive if you're ready to release yourself and others from the prison of unforgiveness. Divine marriage also brings a new relationship with mystery. Instead of needing to understand everything, to have all questions answered and all uncertainties resolved, you develop a comfort with not knowing. You recognize that divine wisdom far exceeds human comprehension, that some truths can only be experienced rather than explained, that mystery isn't a problem to solve, but a reality to embrace with wonder and humility. This openness to mystery keeps the divine marriage fresh and alive. Just when you think you've grasped the fullness of divine love, it reveals itself in new and surprising ways. Just when you believe you've reached the depths of spiritual intimacy, you discover there are deeper levels still to explore. The divine beloved is infinitely knowable, yet never fully known, continuously revealing new facets of love's brilliance. As this divine marriage deepens, you'll notice a growing sense of home within yourself. The restless searching that once drove you begins to settle into peaceful certainty. The validation you once sought from others becomes less important as you rest in divine affirmation. You carry your belonging with you wherever you go because you know yourself as eternally held in divine love, eternally chosen for divine partnership. Type home if you're feeling this sense of spiritual homecoming in your heart. This inner home becomes your sanctuary in challenging times, your place of renewal when the world depletes you, your source of wisdom when decisions must be made. You learn to return to this sacred center again and again, to drink from the well of divine love that never runs dry, to align yourself with the truth of who you are beyond all temporary circumstances and fluctuating emotions. Divine marriage isn't about perfection, but presence. It doesn't require flawless performance or uninterrupted spiritual awareness. It asks only for willingness. Willingness to return when you've wandered away. Willingness to begin again. When you've forgotten, willingness to open your heart one more time when fear has caused you to close. This gentle persistence, this faithful returning, is the essence of commitment and divine marriage. And here's the beautiful truth. The divine beloved is always waiting, always welcoming, always ready to resume the sacred dance of your union. There is no rejection, no impatience, no keeping score of your failings. There is only love, constant, unwavering, eternal love that holds space for your journey with infinite compassion and unshakable belief in who you truly are and who you are becoming. Type beloved if you're feeling the truth of this unconditional divine acceptance. As we draw near the close of this message, I want you to know that everything I've shared comes not from theory, but from the lived experience of countless souls throughout history who have discovered this divine marriage. From mystics and saints to ordinary people in every walk of life, this sacred union has been the hidden treasure, the pearl of great price worth selling everything to obtain. And now this invitation is extended to you. You are the one God will marry, not because you've earned it or achieved it or proven yourself worthy, but because divine love has chosen you from the beginning of time. Your only response is to say yes, yes to being loved completely, yes to becoming who you truly are. Yes to joining in sacred partnership with the source of all creation. This yes isn't spoken once, but renewed each day as you open yourself to divine presence. Remember, beloved soul, that this divine marriage unfolds according to its own sacred timing. There's no need to force or rush the process. Simply remain open, remain willing. Remain attentive to the subtle movements of divine love in your life. Trust that you are being led, step by step, into deeper union with the one who has loved you from the beginning and will love you without end. Type trust in the comments if you're surrendering to this divine process in your life. I believe with all my heart that you wouldn't have found this message if you weren't ready to hear it. The divine timing of our connection in this moment is no accident. You are being called into remembrance of who you truly are, the beloved of creation, the chosen partner in divine marriage, the one in whom divine love delights completely. May you walk forward from this moment with this truth echoing in your heart, transforming everything you see and everything you do. Until we meet again in divine timing, remember that you are seen, you are known, you are cherished beyond measure. The sacred marriage awaits. The divine beloved is calling your name. All that remains is your response, your beautiful, courageous, life-changing yes to love that has no beginning and no end. Thank you for receiving this message today. May it serve the awakening of your heart to the divine marriage that is your birthright and your destiny. Thank you for watching.